Welcome to the project. I'm your host, Manny. Happy to be with you. Let's get this party started. As they say, today's show is a little bit different than we normally or our normal shows. I was getting everything together. I was going to basically talk about the Fed and how they're getting ready, to raise interest rates and how that affects you, what that means for you. The everyday normal American who is living paycheck to paycheck, as am I. And I really wanted to basically, talk to that and see, how how to get ourselves ready for that. But we're going to park that. We're going to put that to the side, and we are going to talk about something a little bit different. As I was putting everything together, I was reading an article in the Wall Street Journal that really caught my attention, and I wanted to basically put today's show, surround today's show based on this particular article. What the heck is going on in America? What the heck is going on with us Americans? I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. And this particular article speaks to that. And I wanted to share this with you. And again, put this show in these terms, like what is going on? What is going on? So before we do that, I want to thank our friends over at Instacart. You've heard me talk about Instacart before. They are a great asset to you if you live a busy lifestyle, such as myself. I've made it clear that I have an unorthodox schedule. And every once in a while, I can definitely just go onto my phone or on my tablet, laptop, whatever. Go on Instacart.com, click on what items I may need for the evening, or what items I need. Maybe I'm short milk. Maybe I need eggs. Maybe there's something that I need in the house that I don't have the time to run over to the grocery store to be able to get. And I can literally go on to Instacart.com, click on those items that I need, and have them delivered to my door in about an hour. Who's better than me? I mean, come on. Yeah, I don't have to go and stand in a line and jeopardize, valuable, minutes, hours of nap time, considering the odd schedule that I do work. But again, check out our friends over at Instacart.com. Go to our website. At the top of the page, you will see Instacart. You will see the Instacart image. Click on that link, and it'll take you directly to their website, and let Instacart know that the project has sent you. Additionally, if you are interested in getting mail delivery for fresh, ready-to-eat meals, you can also go to Instacart.com. Promo code MEALS10US or MEALS10US. And you will get $10 off ready-to-eat meals on any orders of $35 and up. This is for new customers only, delivery orders only, and participating retailers only, where supplies last. So if you are interested in getting deliveries of ready-to-eat meals, go to Instacart.com, check to see if there is availability in your area, and take advantage. Meals10.us. Get meals ready to eat. Go to Instacart.com. Get anything it is that you get at your grocery store delivered straight to you within or in about an hour, right? Who's better than you? Thank you, Instacart. Again, that's Instacart.com. Go to the Miranda Project, PROJCT.com, the top of the page. Click on the link at the top and let Instacart know the project sent you. So like I said, I was reading this article, right? I was reading Wall Street Journal, actually, and I was looking at all this information as far as, like I said, the Fed, the Federal Reserve. By the Fed, I mean the Federal Reserve. And I was looking into all this stuff onto how the Federal Reserve is ready to raise interest rates because, again, the only way to balance out the fact that we're dealing with such high inflation is that interest rates have to be risen so that we can meet somewhere in the middle. And I'm not going to get into a whole thorough explanation about it now. We will talk about it in a future episode. That's something that we'll talk. Like I said, we parked it. We'll talk about it soon. But what I did want to talk about, what I do want to talk about rather, is about this article. And the name of the article is America's Epidemic of Mindless Behavior. Again, America's Epidemic of Mindless Behavior by Daniel Henninger. And I started reading this article and I was stunned. I was taken back. I was like, wow. What is going on in America? What is the deal? Like, things have been going on that I you don't recognize. I'm 43 years old. I just turned it, by the way. Thank you. And some things that are going on that I just like, what the heck? What is going on? And this article explains, or it goes over some of these things, and you start questioning it. What is it that has driven us Americans and Americans? I mean, because we have to generalize. We can't just go and say, oh no, it was just them, or no, it was them, or those people. And it's just like it's everybody's caught up in something in some way, shape, or form, and it's. I think it's important to kind of like look through this and hopefully you follow me through it and you see that something's up. Like, what is up? Why what is going on? What is going on in America? What is going on with the epidemic of mindless behavior? And again, this is by Daniel Henninger, the Wall Street Journal. Now, he starts the piece by this. A question for our time in the United States is, how have so many individuals broken free of moorings that once stood them from an uncomfortable drift into senseless violence and mindless behavior? The two major events, and before we go forward, I wanted to stop right there, because what he means by I love the metaphor that he uses there, moorings. He said moorings that once stopped us Americans, from an uncomfortable drift into senseless violence and mindless behavior. He uses the metaphor of a mooring is what you basically would tie your boat or your yacht, your ship to. And basically when you tie the boat, it doesn't allow for it to go adrift into the open sea, into the open ocean. Somewhere down the road, we forgot to tie our moral compass down. We forgot to tie it down to the mooring and say, okay, here it's tied down and it's keeping me, it's keeping me centered. It's keeping me where I can deal with certain things and I don't have to fly off the handle or lose my marbles like so many people have. And somewhere down the line, I guess we just forgot to tie them down, and they just drifted into this sea of senseless violence and mindless behavior. I love the way that he put that together. And I mean, just follow me. Come on, think about it. I mean, like, really think about it. Think about, what has transpired due to, and we love to blame COVID, but I mean, due to COVID, and we're going to talk about why I say COVID in a minute or in a little while. Now, he goes on. The two major events of unmoored mass violence, meaning untied, meaning that they didn't tie into the mooring, in America recently have been the protests come riots after George Floyd's killing in May 2020 and the January 6, 2021 attack on the U.S. Capitol. Now, listen. I love that he draws comparison to that because it's exactly what happened. It's 100% true. I don't care what people say that, no, it was peaceful protest and blah, blah, blah. It was peaceful protest. That's why he says protest come riots. So basically, people started with protests. They began protesting the senseless murder of George Floyd, and then somewhere down the line, the rioters came. There was rioting. Rioting took place, senseless rioting. People just went bananas and said, oh, I need to go into the Gucci store. I need to go into Louis Vuitton. I need to go into Best Buy. I need to go into Target. I need to go and get me a new 50, 60, 75-inch television. I need to go get me a new pair of Nikes. I need to go get me a pair of Levi's. Anything and anything. They went in, they got it. In the name of social justice, in the name of George Floyd, in the name of I guess that's what it is, right? I guess that's why he says it. He says protests come riots. The protests led to the riots, not in that particular way that the protesters said, yeah, okay, go riot. No. The protests turned into riot, not because of the protesters necessarily. And again, I want to explain this, and I want to make sure that everybody understands, because I'm not calling the protesters rioters. What I'm saying is that the protesters went out and did what they did, protest the senseless killing of George Floyd. But somewhere down the line, these rioters came into play. Where they came from, I don't know. They are not necessarily the protesters, excuse me. The protesters probably said, all right, we're done for the day. Let's go to Applebee's. Let's go and eat some burgers or something. Let's go to McDonald's. Again, I'm just saying. And all of a sudden these rioters came out, and like I said, they Louis Vuitton, what's it called? Gucci, Coach, what's it called? And they went and they, in the name of these protests, they did what they did, and basically destroyed private property and so on and so forth. In the same token, he goes and he compares it to the January 6th attack on the Capitol. Now, you're probably looking at it and you're like, oh no, that's apples to oranges. That doesn't make sense. No, because that doesn't, there was there was a protest. There were people on the National Mall protesting the fact that we've mentioned it before and in a previous episode, that they felt that they were robbed for whatever reason. I said it. I felt that this election was robbed from me. My voice was stolen. Not that there were, all this malfeasance or whatever. I'm not going to get into all of that. I'm not going to go into whether, this, that, and the third and the elections. I'm not. I'm way beyond that at this point. I'm so beyond that. All I can say is that I sat there on November 3rd, turned into November 4th. And I sat there and I watched how it so drastically changed. And I felt like this never happens. And it felt like usually by the end of the night, I already know who the elect is. And I have to wait now 2-3 weeks to find out who the elect is. And then it just was so off. It felt so wrong. I felt like something was taken from me. And I think that's the essence of what people were going out and protesting. Of course, they were exacerbated by all these different things and people were saying and even the president was saying and you had social media, Twitter and Parler and people posting this and posting that and made the situation a lot worse than it should have been. And listen, I don't take away fault from all of those entities. Again, I said it in the previous episode that we talked about this particular issue. I don't take it away. I don't agree fully with how President Trump went about this whole thing. Did I do? Should he have conceded? No, I don't think he should have. I think he did the right thing. I think he just should have not been as boisterous about it as he was. But that's my opinion. I'm not in his shoes. I'm not in his shoes. I don't know, but I know that for me personally, I felt like my voice, my voting voice was stolen, and I was upset about it. Of course I was upset about it. Now, don't get me wrong. Like I said, I understand that, when it comes to the federal election, the presidential election, my voice is very minute because it depends on the electoral college and so on and so forth. And I get that. I understand that. I'm not, what's it called? That's not foreign to me. But still, you sit there and you watch it, and it just didn't make sense. I sat there. I've sat in so many others, and I've seen it. I mean, I sat there in 2016 and so on and so forth, and I've seen, the normalcy of it. And then you sit there and you see what happened, 2020, and it just didn't seem right. Something was completely off. And of course, people are going to lose, like I said, people are going to lose their marbles. And that's what ended up happening, right? People lost their marbles. And again, he talks about that. They go over to the National Mall, whether they were incited by some third-party agitators, or what's the thing, the hashtag that's been flying around on Twitter recently? Who is Omar Epps? I think not Omar Epps, something Epps. They say that he was a Fed, that he was exacerbating the whole situation, whatever. In the same token, you had people that went to protest the fact that they didn't agree with how the election transpired, or the fact that, the current president is the one that was elected, or whatever the case may be. They went and they protested it. They went over there as were asked of them by the president, and said, make your voices heard. And then people lost their marbles, people lost their head, broke into the Capitol building. And I don't know what some of these people were thinking. Some of them were just like, oh yeah, I'm in the Capitol building. Oh, click, I'm taking pictures. Oh, look, it's this mall and this thing. And I think one guy stole a pew, or not a pew, a lectern. Like, it was like you went in there with this mentality of let's break it down, yeah. And then I guess you came to your senses, but it was too little too late. And a lot of those people are obviously going to see jail time. But, what ended up happening? Like, what the heck is going on? Like, literally, like, what is causing this to happen? This is why I wanted to continue to, I started really just continually reading this and really digesting it. I wanted to share with everyone, because I'm sure everybody is probably wondering the same thing. Like, you sat back at home and you've seen the news, and you've seen, what happened in January 6th, and you've seen what happened in the riots in the summer, and you're like, what the heck, man? Now, he goes on. In the article, he goes, political protest today always hovers at the edge of madness, right? Set aside the so-called politics of the January 6th Capitol attack, like we mentioned, set that aside. The footage has been shown endlessly, revealing what can only be called the joy de destruction of the intruders, who acted as though rampaging through the Capitol was hardly different than bellowing around a parking lot on game day. Hundreds have been arrested, and many who likely had no serious prior arrest will now have prison time on their records. That's exactly what I just mentioned. Exactly what I just mentioned. These people were just, it was like they were lollygagging, like if they were basically, and I love how he says it, like if they were tailgating at a football game, and then all of a sudden they broke in and they lost their head. Now they're going to see jail time. Rightfully so, because they broke into a building that they shouldn't have been breaking into, a private property. They did cause damage, private, damage to private property, all of that all calls for jail time. That's all, all of the stuff that, they're going to encounter is justifiable to a degree, because I don't agree with how some of the things that are going on here or how they're being held, or, I think it's beyond, because they're calling it domestic terrorism. And, if you agree with that, then you agree with that. I don't fully agree with it being domestic terrorism. I think that these people lost their heads, broke into, trespassed private property. They should get what is coming to them because of that. But to call it domestic terrorism, that's, again, I go into it in a separate episode. I'm trying to remember the name of that episode. But I go into, my opinion on that particular topic, January 6th, and the attack, not the insurrection that they call it. Now, he continues. Black Lives Matter was supposed to be behind the summer 2020 protests, but a similarly ecstatic "what the hell" hoot was evident in the lootings and pitched battles with police. For most of last year, and this one is the kicker right here. Please, this again. I know people watch this at home and were like, what? For most of last year, Portland, Oregon descended into a kind of Mad Max state of anarchy, beset by costumed street fighting gangs. The Chop Zone. The Chop Zone. What the heck was that? It was like if you were watching Mad Max. Like, what the heck was that? They quarantined, or they took off a little section of Seattle, I think it was, and in Portland. I'm sorry, in Portland, and they basically descended into like Mad Max anarchy. The summer of love, according to one politician. This was the summer of love. Part 2. The summer of love. What the heck was going on? What was in the minds of these people? What were they thinking? And he talks about the Black Lives Matter and the fact that, again, you had people that went there to protest anywhere. Wherever they went to protest George Floyd and the senseless killing of George Floyd. And it just descended into complete and utter madness, burned down cities, looted. I mean, again, what happened? Where did these people's mind go? Did it drift, like he said at the beginning? Like, did they forget to tie down their moral compass, and then their minds, their moral compass just is gone, so now they just went into instant boom anarchy, like, oh, I have to destroy, I have to loot, I have to do this, that, and the third. Both instances. Political protest today always hovers at the edge of madness. This is where we are today. Really? Is this where we are? Is this where we need to be today? Like, we can't go and protest something politically without having to worry about some crazy thing breaking out, without some riot breaking out, without having to deal with riot gear, police and riot gear, and tear gas and all that stuff. What the heck is going on? Like, really? And it just boggles my mind, because you wonder to yourself, what is going on? Why are we here? Why are we in this position? Like, why is it that you have these, and it doesn't exclude anybody, which we're going to talk about. It doesn't exclude any, because we talk about the far right, and then we talk about the far left, and they're both in this state of, oh, we're going to protest something we don't like, and then all of a sudden, boom, they break out into this riot. One breaks into in the Capitol building, the other one destroys major cities across the United States. Why? Again, did we forget the moral compass? Did we not tie it down? Did COVID have something to do with it? Did the fact that you had these people locked up or locked down and they couldn't, I don't know. I guess they couldn't process things, or maybe they just forgot the moral compass at home because they left that locked up and they decided, no, I gotta go. I gotta get up out of this house because I've been cooped up in this house for way too long. But the thing is that this doesn't only exclude, these people. It affects everyone. It affects everyone. Now, I'll give you an example. But before I give you an example, I want to talk about our friends over at Live Well Nutrition. Thank you, Live Well. You guys, they asked a question to themselves. They were, they were tired, rather, excuse me. They were tired of lack of quality plant protein products. There wasn't any. So they set out to go out and make their own. Now, all of them either did not pack the nutritional punch as we, and this is basically how they felt. All of them either did not pack the nutritional punch we were looking for, or they simply tasted terrible. I've had a few, and you know that. Oh my God. Before Live Well was established, we made our own shakes daily. Now, what I love about Live Well is that they give you the ability to purchase these items. And if you go to their website, livewellnutrition.com, they have a 15% off site-wide of all their products, but they're also recipes and things that you can make with these plant-based proteins. And they talk about the difference between a whey protein and a plant-based protein and which one is better for you. Listen, we're all in a state where we're all trying to live healthier lifestyles. COVID rampage through through society, and everybody's worried about living a better lifestyle, healthier lifestyle, and taking care of themselves. And Live Well Nutrition is here to help you try to change your lifestyle. Their mission is to make the world a better place to live for us and for our children. We believe the foundation begins with our health. In this world of heavy corporate influence, it's our goal to turn people onto the wealth of their own health and the power that health can bring. So check them out. Go to livewellnutrition.com. Again, go to the top of our page, the Miranda Project, projct.com. .com. Click on the link on the top of the page. It'll take you directly to their website. Let them know that the project sent you and take advantage. They have a awesome sale right now, like we mentioned before, 15% off of everything site-wide. Navigate through the site, get some great recipes, some shakes. I think shakes are always the best way to start because they go down easy, they taste great, and they are very filling. So it gets you on the road. So go ahead, check them out. livewellnutrition.com. Once again, that's livewell, LIVWELL nutrition.com. And go to our website, like we mentioned, the Miranda Project, PROJCT. Click on the link on the top of the page and let Live Well know that the project sent you. Thank you, Live Well Nutrition. So like I mentioned, this didn't only affect the factions of like Black Lives Matter and the people over on the right and the Oath Keepers and all of this other crazy names, Proud Boys and all of that, because they all threw all these names at each other, blah blah blah, whatever. I'm not gonna get into all of that, but it didn't only affect them. This mindless state, this state of I forgot to tie down my moral compass, didn't only affect them. You see, and he goes on. He goes, the personal choice function hasn't been working well among the presumed sophisticates either. Take Andrew Cuomo, Governor Andrew Cuomo of New York, right? The allegations of smarmy sexual overtures by multiple women occurred after the hashtag #MeToo storm had already rained down shame on numerous Cuomo-level celebrities in New York City. Governor, what were you thinking? Like, come on. I hate to laugh at it because I'm not laughing at the victims. I feel bad for them, but it's just like you got the example of these celebrities. You've seen like the Weinsteins of the world. You've seen other celebrities that are been taken down by this. You're witnessing it. They're being tried in New York Supreme Court of all places, which is in Manhattan, or New York City Supreme Court. But again, it's still Manhattan. It's still New York. You're seeing it. It's in your backyard, but yet you still gotta be handsy. You still gotta put your hands on Cuomo. You can't keep your hands to yourself. You still gotta do it. You still feel that you're untouchable. You don't think about it. You just do it. And that's basically what he's saying here. Where is the moral compass? What happened there, Cuomo? You're seeing it. It's happening in your backyard. It's like, come on, like pay attention. Were you paying attention, or did you pay attention? Did you care to pay attention, or you did not care to pay attention because you thought you were untouchable? Is that what it was? I think you thought that you were untouchable. So you figured, you know what? I'm just going to put my hands on XYZ and B, A, and D because I can, because I am the governor of New York. I think I just summed it up. That's exactly what he said. Where's his moral compass? Where'd it go? Where did his moral compass go? Did he let it drift off? Did it drift off? Hey, listen, we all make mistakes. We ain't perfect. I've made mistakes. I make mistakes all the time. Listen, my wife will tell you I've made mistakes. Like, you could call her and you can ask her, and my wife will be like, oh, yeah. You know how they say that women never forget? You know how you get into an argument with your wife, what's it called? And she brings up something that happened like 6 years ago. You remember the time? And you're like, oh, damn. You remember that? Yeah, that's what they do. Ask any man. Ask any man. Anyways, listen, we all make mistakes. We all do. On a serious note, we all make mistakes. We're not perfect. The only perfect one is God. We know that. God is perfect. We're not. We are on a pathway to try to live righteous lives, and we all fall short of his glory. Bottom line. But sometimes it's just like we lose our minds. Governor Cuomo here, he had the perfect example here. He's seeing all these things go down. The hashtag #MeToo movement. He was a big proponent of it as well. He had his name all over it. Not in the bad sense, because now in the bad sense, he does have his name all over it. In good sense. But he lost his mind. He lost his marbles, and he just said, oh, no, I'm untouchable because I'm Governor Cuomo, and my dad was, Governor Cuomo as well. Was it Governor Cuomo, or was he mayor? I'm trying to remember, because then his brother. But anyways. So then he goes on in the article. He says, answer, like the Capitol Hill rioters, the looters, the shooters, the Long Island smackdown ladies, New York's new ex-governor wasn't thinking anything. They all just did it. Now, in the bottom part of the sentence, or bottom part of paragraph, he says the Capitol rioters, what we talked about. We talk about the looters, which we're talking about the looters that preceded the protest, the Black Lives Matter protest, or just the protest after George Floyd, the killing of George Floyd. Now, he talks about the shooters. The shooters, in the article, he refers to the shooters, one of the shooters being the shooter, Mr. McNeil, LaShawn McNeil, who took the lives of police officer Jason Rivera and police officer Wilbert Mora. I apologize. Now, the processions for both of those police officers was just simply beautiful. They were, the wake was at St. Patrick's Cathedral. And it was just a sea of blue, but not only a sea of blue, a sea of New Yorkers, man. a sea of New Yorkers. New Yorkers are like wondering what is going on with this senseless and mindless violence that is taking and it's captivating New York City. This is what he's talking about. Not only is he talking about those shooters, I mean, that shooter in particular, LaShawn McNeil, but he's also talking about the shooter that shot and killed that young lady in that Burger King not too long ago for no reason, for $100, which she gave to him. She gave the man the $100. He still, upon leaving, turned around and shot her, killed her. That was the last day that she was going to be working that overnight shift. She had requested her shift be changed to a morning shift because she was afraid of the shift that she was currently working, which was the late night shift. She was fearful. And she had asked management, per her mom, or if it was her mom, I don't remember exactly. Please forgive me if I'm getting the story wrong, as long as, that aspect, to change her schedule to a day shift or earlier shift because she was afraid something may happen. And that was the last day that she was supposed to work that schedule. And this took place. He turned around after receiving the $100, turned around and shot her. Just for no reason. He just lost it. Was it that he lost it? Or he just did, as the article did. He at the bottom, he says, they all just did. He talks about the Long Island SmackDown ladies. Those are the ladies that attacked a steward. Excuse me. I know that's not the term. I'm trying to remember what the term is, and I do apologize. On a plane, it was they just attacked them. I don't remember if it was a mask thing or not, but they just attacked them. They went at them. The two of them. Now they're serving time, federal time, because again, you do anything like that on a plane, and that is not city or state. That's federal. Again, the airlines are under federal jurisdiction. They're not under state or local law jurisdiction. For those of you who don't know that, if you do commit any kind of crime like that on a plane, you are putting yourself at risk of seeing federal time. So just be aware of that. And he goes into the fact that ex-Governor Cuomo was just not thinking. He just did it. That was it. He just did it. That was it. That's it. Nothing else. He just did it. Now, like I mentioned what we were talking about, the urban crime spike, which is part of the police officers dying and the young lady that we were talking about. But not only that, it's just going on across the country. I can talk New York City. Yeah. But that happened last week. Yesterday, 3 police officers in Houston were shot. And they're looking for the suspect. I haven't seen if they found him yet. But this is going on across America. The urban crime spike has revived the phrase broken windows. The article of the name published in The Atlantic 40 years ago deserves a big new readership for what it tells us about the collapse of order. It is far more nuanced about effective policing and less rotly, law and order than its critics purport. I pronounced it the other way around. Broken windows. Now, for New Yorkers who are familiar with broken windows policing, this is basically what he's talking about. But he's not only talking about policing. He introduces the article in The Atlantic that, again, he said that was written about 40 years ago. But it's not only about policing. We're going to talk about that because this isn't really just about policing. It is something nuanced. It is something, but it definitely has to do with law and order. What is it about law and order that has people going bananas, going bonkers, that they just, hey, I'm the governor, I could do whatever I want. Oh, listen, this steward, or oh my God, I can't think of it. Why do I keep bringing it up and I keep bringing the wrong title up? And we're gonna bash his head in. We're gonna go at him, like, you know, we're gonna throw hands, like, you know, and the shooting, the shooting of these police officers who were just basically, like I said, going, and I mentioned it in a previous episode, they were going in to, you know, on a domestic violence call, domestic dispute call, excuse me. And this guy, LaShawn McNeil, swung open the door and shot them with a modified 9mm. The same thing with the other guy that, you know, like, I don't have to go into specifics like I did previously, but in the Burger King. And now you have this case of these police officers that were shot, and you have just endless stories of this stuff going on, not only against police officers, but just in general against people. Let's not even go into the numbers of Chicago. Let's not even go into the numbers of St. Louis. Let's not go into what's going on in Akron. I mean, in Cleveland. That's what I meant. Let's not talk about what's going on in these cities. New York. This is just the urban crime spike. This is just that's it in a nutshell. It's an urban crime spike. Maybe we should look at broken windows. That's what he's saying. Maybe we should look at broken windows. But is it broken windows policing that he's saying that we should look at? Is he saying that we should look at broken windows policing? I don't know if that's what he's saying. I think this is what he's basically saying. But the ideas of broken windows aren't only about controlling crime in poor neighborhoods. They are about the basics of intact communities, and therefore relevant for a broader U.S. society that has become unwilling to police or fix the broken windows of daily life. The authors George L. Keeling and James Q. Wilson describe the risks. Failing to do anything about a score of drunks or 100 vagrants may destroy an entire community. That's what he's talking about. That is what he's talking about. We have gotten to a point where we don't care about the small stuff. How do we fix the problem with vagrants? How do we help them? Hey, I'll give you a perfect example. Mayor Bill de Blasio had the amount of time that he was mayor here, and he kept saying that he was going to fix the homeless problem. Never did. We still have a huge homeless problem. Huge homeless problem. Never fixed it. He swore he was going to fix it up and down. Let's not even talk about San Francisco and their homeless problem. San Francisco, LA, let's not even go there. Let's not even talk about that. Failing to do anything about a score of drunks or 100 vagrants may destroy an entire community. The primary culprits aren't the perpetrators. I said it in our last episode when I spoke about the police officers being shot in the manner that they were. I don't blame LaShawn McNeil. I don't. The primary culprits aren't the perpetrators running wild through a society that has devalued accountability. They have devalued accountability. In other words, you do this, you commit the crime. Oh, it's okay. No, it's not that big a deal. You shot somebody. It's not that big a deal. Here, pow, pow. Pow, pow. Pow, pow, like they say. Like they do to children in Spanish culture. Pow, pow. That's how they do. Little kids, pow, pow. Don't take the cookie, pow, pow. Oh, you shot somebody? Don't worry about it. Here, pow, pow. The blame lies with the adults in the room, the establishment elites who have so often explained away and validated this behavior. Ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about what is going on right now in New York City. We are talking about what is going on in LA. We are talking about what is going on in Chicago. We are talking about what is going on in St. Louis. We are talking about what is going on in all these urban neighborhoods, all these urban cities where all they're doing is washing their hands, giving them the so-called, here, pow pow, it's okay, pow pow. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's because you're a person of color that we feel that we shouldn't be strenuous with you. We shouldn't give you your just desserts for what you did. Listen, I'm a person of color and I've been through the system. I'm not proud of it. I am not proud of it. But it is what it is. It is what it is. I'm not proud of it. But you know what? We're just washing their hands of it. We're just, okay, it's okay, no problem. Don't worry about it. We're not rectifying the behavior. We're not. New York right now, like we mentioned before, Mayor I believe our last episode, New York, Mayor Adams is trying to implement a stricter police or policing. He's trying to bring back plain clothes, which did a awesome job of getting guns off of the street. Guns off the street. We'll talk about that term next week. But he did an awesome job of doing so. Not him, but just the plainclothes unit. But even if they did that, then what ends up happening? They end up going to the DAs, and the DAs say, "Oh no, here, pow pow, it's okay, pow pow, go on your way, it's all right. We're not gonna set a bail. There's no bonds because apparently it's racist to do that." Even if, they look at, what they can and can't afford and look at what, how they can deal with the monetary issues or whatever, no, it's automatically, no, it's racist and you can't. And, or the fact that, it's just, it's bad. You have DAs that are not prosecuting. Not, like I said, not only here in New York. We detailed it in our MLK episode. Our MLK episode, if you go back, we detail some of these cities. We talk about the fact that some of these prosecutors, some of these DAs in some of these cities, what they're doing and why they're doing it, why we feel that they're doing, or why the author of the article feels that they're doing what they're doing. Is it because they're saving money? Is it because of a racial thing? What is it? He talks about it. Go back to that episode. It's a hijacking. We talk about it. We are allowing the behavior. We're saying it's okay. Pow pow. Don't do it again. And then when it happens, we don't know, and or it continues to happen. We don't know what to do. But why? We gave him pow pow. We gave him the chance. Oh, this is the third time? Oh, but we gave him pow pow. He should know by now. He should understand. But yeah, he still hasn't. But pow pow, that should have worked. The pow pow should have worked. Ladies and gentlemen, I totally, this is why I wanted to go over this article, because I totally agree. The problem is that we're not, the moral compass we let drift away is because we are not punishing or not punishing. Well, yeah, punishing, but we're not taking care of the small stuff. We're not looking at the small stuff and saying, okay, this is wrong. So I shouldn't do this because this is wrong. But if I get away with it, then I can get away with this. And then I'm going to try and get away with something bigger and then bigger and then bigger and then bigger. It always escalates. Always, always, always. There's a problem, ladies and gentlemen. This is America's epidemic of mindless behavior. I wish I could share the article so that you can read it, but it's on the Wall Street Journal, and the Wall Street Journal you need to have a subscription for. But I hope that we were able to kind of go through it and explain, the synopsis or like the real meat and potatoes of it. But we have a serious problem, and we need to get tough on not only crime, but we need to get tough on ourselves, tough on our children, and let them know that there are consequences for our actions. I'll give you a quick example. Yesterday, a teenager was stopped on the train here in New York City carrying a loaded weapon. What does a 16-year-old have to do with a loaded weapon on a train? Nothing good. He was slapped with a $10,000 bail. Mom was like, no, but he's a good kid. And nothing good comes from a kid carrying a gun, a loaded weapon on a public train. Do I agree with the $10,000 bail? Yeah, I do. I'm sorry, Mom. I'm sorry, kid. I know, apparently that you hadn't had any run-ins but I'm sorry. But what are you doing on a train with a loaded weapon? What? Were you, playing some game? I don't know. I don't know. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a problem. We need to get stricter. We need to go back to the broken windows. I agree with it. We need to go back to a broken windows policing and lifestyle. We definitely do, because this is gonna destroy us. Society as a whole will collapse on itself. That's basically what the article says. That's what they're saying. The original authors of Broken Windows. I don't have to read it. I'll read it again. Let's see if I got the right one. No, it's not that one. I'm sorry. It's trying to find it. Oh, here it is. Failing to do anything about a score of drunks or 100 vagrants may destroy an entire community. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to put that out there. I hope that you enjoyed that, and if you do, if you would like to get the article, I will try to see if I can put it up on on our website so that you can read through it. But again, I know that with the Wall Street Journal, you do need a subscription. So I will share it and see if you can get a chance to read it, maybe for free. So other than that, and powerful information, I hope that we were able to get something out of it. And with that being said, let's move on to our customary Dunce of the week. But before we do so, I would like to give thanks to our friends over at geekbuying.com. Go check them out. They have a Lunar New Year super deal up to 70% off. Again, geekbuying.com. They have all of your gadgetry favorites. I mean, everything that you can think of, they have on their website. I mean, I saw some 3D printers. I've seen routers. I've seen e-bikes. I've seen a whole bunch of things that you can definitely get on geekbuying.com. Go ahead and check them out. That's geekbuying.com, or you can go. You can go to our website, the Miranda Project, projct.com. Click on the link at the top of our page and go directly to geekbuying.com and let Geek Buying know the project sent you. Thank you, Geek Buying. Now, without further ado, we are going to give you this week's, because last episode was last week's because we missed for some crazy in reasoning. But this week's Dunce of the Week. Before we present the Dunce of the Week, I want to play this video for you.
I'm looking at this dude. Yo, this dude is. I can't believe I'm seeing this. Yo, this guy just filled his 2 bags up with everything in Rite Aid right here on 80th and 1st Avenue. He's walking down the street like is Gucci. Look at me in my face like what's good. I was watching him the whole time. My man just went Christmas shopping in January. He had the condoms, the shampoo.
Listen, and Mr. Rappaport, there you are. All I want to say to you is that, sir, you voted for this. This is what you voted for. You stood on your platform and said that you didn't agree with the law and order stance of the previous administration. Whether you liked the previous administration or not, law and order is something that I believe is something that helps us as a whole society. And this is why we spoke about what we spoke about now and America's epidemic of mindless behavior. And it's because we don't have law and order. You sir, stood up. You stood up using your platform and said that you were against this. And now that you're seeing it in your neighborhood, that you're seeing it where you live, at the Rite Aid that you shop, and you see that this guy is basically walking in and cleaning out the shelves, it's a problem. It's a problem. Oh, and additionally, that Rite Aid on 80th and 1st Avenue, because of all the theft and all the profit and loss or loss in profit, is now closing. So, Michael Rappaport, because you're shocked and stunned by the fact that law and order, or the lack thereof, is leading to someone coming into your neighborhood and stealing from your Rite Aid, you are this week's Dunce of the Week. Congratulations, Mr. Michael Rappaport, for being this week's Dunce of the Week. Thank you all for joining us on the project. As we always say, please follow us on our Facebook page, our Twitter page, and our Instagram page. Also, check us out on our website, which I have said repeatedly, the Miranda Project, projct.com. And as we always say, if you're not into politics, just remember, politics is in to you. Thank you all. Have a great one, and God bless you.